Okay, so today we are going to get an overview of personal administration. And what is personal administration is basically uh, various departments are basically getting integrated at one point, and that is the beauty of SAP. And that falls under organizational management. And within that umbrella, we have various departments for finance, for capacity, for training and event management. These are the departments that get integrated under personal administration. So what we are going to actually cover is master data, company structures, info types, personal actions, features, integration, and you will be able to get an overview and understanding of what personal administration is about. Now, over here, an employee, when it is connected with the company, of course, there are areas that are known to the enterprise, like organizational assignment, what department that employee belongs to and reports to, and what is the current location, address, residence location, temporary location, mailing address, permanent address, or holiday address, or these can be different. Then, of course, a employee is operating in a different jurisdiction. The tax information is also captured for that employee for the payroll. Then family, why is it related with recruiters? Because some people prefer to stay with the family. So their recruitment procedures and conditions will change if someone prefers and someone does not prefer, or someone prefers offshore job or someone prefers onshore job. The recruitment style and procedures and conditions will change, and so is the work schedule. If the person is working in a rotation, then time master data will be different for rotational employee, and it will be different for salaried corporate employee. So master data basically helps in identifying how the employee information and master data will be treated under various circumstances and settings. So these are some of the screens that you will see in your notes. It will be handed out to you. So what will establish in understanding is the development and the structures of the HR, the elements of enterprise structure, personal structure, how organizational structures are established, and then we'll get an understanding what are personal areas, sub areas, employee groups, and employee subgroups, and the concept of groupings. Okay. So enterprise basically, it can be spread over a geographical location with various look various geographical locations based as offices, and at these locations the personnel will be working as contractual employees, as salaried, or as retirees or active. These will be the personnel connected with these enterprise. The structures can be lean, can be deep, can be spread out. For multinationals it will be different. For oil and gas, it will be different. For retail companies, it will be different. So enterprise structure, we've already configured that in SAP, where we have the structures under the administrative categories and organizational categories. And under organizational, of course, we have positions, jobs, and units. In an administrative, we have employees as contractual, salaried, hourly. Okay, these are the categories that will be under administrative. Employee groups, we can have multiple employee groups like active, retiree, premature retiree, and many more, but we'll stick to active for our understanding. Employee groups under active will be either salaried, contractual, clerical, permanent, okay, temporary, that, or analyst or consultant. Okay, these can be the categories. Payroll area basically is how the payroll is distributed and calculated. Some payroll areas will calculate based on rotational mode. Some will calculate on monthly mode. Speaking of organizational units, the departments in an enterprise will have sub-departments as well. These can be distributed as per the geographical regions and the processes. Jobs basically are JDs, job descriptions for the positions that are held by personnel. Every personnel administration master data and assignment will be categorized in three parts: enterprise structure, the personnel structure, and the organizational structure. Okay. Enterprise structure, of course, it will have the company code. Personnel structure will have the employee group and subgroups and payroll areas. Groupings. Now, groupings basically personnel sub-area groupings and employee sub-area groupings. Now, each location will be a grouping as per the department, and employee subgroup will be grouping, will be categorized and separated as per the requirement. For example, working journalist and clerical staff will be grouped together for separate payroll calculation. Personnel sub-areas. Now, these are groupings for time management. Now, personnel sub-areas will have their own wage types, calendars, and info types for basic pay, because this personnel sub-area, which is a factory, is following a different category of payroll, time management, and workforce management than the corporate office. Why? Because the scheduling, the rotation, the timings, everything is separate over here. So that's why we need a personnel sub-area. Now, employee subgroups will be differentiated under the employee group. What are the employee group? Salary and hourly. Okay. So the pay scale groups is one of the metrics to differentiate an employee subgroup. The wage types will be different. The payroll calculation dates will be different. Okay. Info types. Now, what are info types? Info types are the most crucial parts of your master data. And we have four primary master data info types. We'll just see that. Info types. Now, the family address, these nodes are the info types. Now, family will have all the details and fields for family names, the dependents, spouse, marital status. Okay, that is info. So info type is basically a node where it captures all the data. Address will have, as I mentioned earlier, permanent, temporary, mailing, vacation address, maternal, paternal, family addresses. Okay, now that is how an info type will be designed. It will have fields. We will have the control to reduce or increase the number of these fields. Actions. Now, actions are basically like hiring, promotion, transfer, orientation. The assignment, organizational assignment, is what department is the employee reporting at or positioned at. Personal data. Now, these info types, if you see the numerical, the 4-digit, these are the identifiers for info types, and these are universal. And we will be clubbing and grouping all of these info types as per our departments and enterprise requirements. Okay. Now, these are some of the screenshots that you will actually come across. Now, actions basically, if you look at the info type tetra 0, over here the value 0 is withdrawn, 1 is retiree, 2 is active, 3 is now you can set these value, and status 2 can be customer specific. Now these are standard and some will be customer specific. Again, screenshots we'll see when we will accomplish the master data. Okay, personal data. Now personal data, payroll status, all of these info types will have their own group of fields, selection, collection of fields. Okay, info types and time constraints. Some info types will have no gaps, like educational qualification will have no gaps. Time constraint 2, like having or enrolling in a training program. One training program will end, the other will start. Time constraint 3 will have gaps, like a project manager will be managing 3 projects at a we can infuse and incorporate in info types with that will have time constraints. So time constraints are of three categories. Overlapping is no overlaps, but time constraint 2 has no overlaps, but it can have gaps. Okay. Okay. Now comes personal actions and Infotype 302. Personal actions, again, when the person gets hired, the orientation will start. After the orientation, the bank accounts will be established, the job descriptions will be explained, the training will start. These are the processes that happen for personnel whenever the personnel gets hired. That's for hiring. But for transfers, for promotion, it will be different. There will be a different separate set of procedures that will be followed. Okay. Personal actions will be based on employee groups, personal areas, and it can be different. And that is where the intelligence of HCM consultant will be very crucial for the company. Okay. Infotypes, where the hourly wage earner is getting promoted to salaried class, the infotype will be the actions will be the infotype where the reassignment will be done. The other infotype 302 will also take care of addition to family, where the action type under this infotype will be recorded and captured. And this is a program that we'll see in SAP. Okay, activating additional actions infotype, because actions are basically the decisions that are being taken and the change of statuses of the employee. Contract elements is another info type. Monitoring updates is another info type. Okay, going ahead now, participants will be able to understand what are the features of master data. Now, these are basically the number range and some other programs that will be attached with the master data. Now, features, what are features within personal addressing that determine automatic default values? Now, default values like employee number, okay, different company, personal or data and structure fields determining a specific value. So some details will be defaulted as per the personal sub areas, the employee group and subgroup group. We have these many nodes that will be functioning in the HCM module. Okay. Now, the master data, you've already seen, it's a combination of info types and the actions that will be taken on those info types that are activated. Okay. The structure, personal actions, as I've already told you, it's the process, the procedures that will be followed in the company, and it will be differing company to company. The structures in the company will be different as per the and of course, how the operations are being handled. We've already actually discussed this. There's a little bit of repetition over here. Okay. Let me just skip these slides. Okay. I believe this is, we have not actually. Okay. Now, the supervisor. Now, these are the positions which are then differentiated and categorized for West region and East region. Over here, the West region supervisor will have a different tax procedures and calculations, and the East region will have a different tax slabs. So your employee subgroup groupings will change at this point, okay? And we've already seen this. There's a bit of repetition again. Personal sub-areas, we've already seen that as well. And employee subgroups, info types, we've already seen the info types. Okay. In our master data, we have menus which are static, but info types are not static. It's up to us what info types will be included for every personal sub area. For office, these info types will be different. For factory, the info types will be different. So that's how dynamic info types will be. Now, status, whether the employment is active, and what is the mode of payment, and the status of the employee. Okay. Now, these are some of the notes that will be useful for you. We've already discussed all of this in detail already. Okay. And employee subgroups, we've already configured this in the system. So I'll pass on this presentation to you so that you can refer it with these notes. Okay. Any question? Who's there?
So far, no.
Okay, good. Good. from next, of course, we'll have now, okay, yeah, we have a list of info types over here. There are various info types, 0 to 099, personal administration, benefits, personal planning, development, payroll, garnishment, tax. So there are many. From 1000 to 199, we have organizational management. So the first slab is for personal administration, where all info types are related with the employee. The second slab is for organizational management, training, and event management. Third slab is for time management, and these are the numbering ranges attached with the info types 4 and 49. Now, this will be useful for consultant when they are configuring the info types. And number of info in personal administration, this is 0 to 099. We have this actions, organizational management, personal details, address, basic pay, education, and so on. Okay. So this is where a consultant will actually develop the understanding of info types, which are crucial for implementation in HCM.
Okay, can you please go back to the previous slide?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me.
Okay, the screen sharing has gone. Okay. Are these number ranges predefined, or do
Yeah,
we
predefined.
as a consultant will be
These
defining those?
custom info types will be defined in this slab 9000 to 999. This is where
Oh,
your
okay.
custom info types will be developed with the help of ABAP consultant. Other than that
Great.
is all standard, and it's preferred not to actually tamper with these standards, because for every country, of course, there will be a different interpretation of info types. So you cannot actually take a risk with
Great.
changing and modulating or modifying the info types. Okay.
What about the ranges from 5,000 till 8,999?
For that, we'll see in the system how we can have a look at the info types in the next lecture. Okay.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
we'll
Thank
have a
you.
view of that. Yeah.